Hello. So, this is one of my other favorite ways to make coffee-based beverages. It is the Tassimo machine. I know it doesn't say Tassimo anywhere, but these do. Bosch was the company that they was making the machines at this time. I kind of feel like somebody else is doing it now, but I'm not 100% certain. So the way this works, it is a pod-based machine, and so Tassimo has a lot of different companies that make product for it. It is not the most popular thing here in the US. I am in Florida, but overseas in the UK, I hear it's very popular, and in some other countries. I think even over here in our northern neighbors, Canada, I think it's been completely discontinued there. However, for me, I have never once bought one of these machines brand new. They were more expensive. Keurig was the main competitor when I read about this before Keurig became a thing. But these were like, upwards of $200 in some instances. And Keurig was a lot cheaper, and they had a lot more product variation, and they just became a lot more popular. However, I never understood that, because Keurig is basically just a hot water machine. You put it in, and it blasts hot water through it, and whatever you get is what you get. Now, the difference here is that up here in the top, you have a little scanner. And so that reads barcodes that every disc has. So when I get my cappuccino disc and the accompanying milk that goes with it, and yes, that is liquid. It's the ultra high temp, so it's shelf stable. Try to combine those two words. So yeah, so it reads the little codes, and it changes brew time. It changes quantity, and it changes temperature as required by whatever you're brewing. And I know I've never done it, but I know that they have tea that you can put through as well. And teas, if you don't know anything about that, they do come ideally brewed at different temperatures depending on whether you have black tea, green tea, herbal tea, etc. So, all right. Well, I find myself in the mood for a caramel latte today, here at home in a matter of moments. So let's brew that up really quick. Now, I drink a lot of coffee, so I'm gonna kind of make this extra strong. So first step, turn it on. Second step, we want our stuff. Well, I guess second step is the cup. Third step, we want to put something in there. So we put that in, and it says insert your tea disc, Tassimo disc. So we put that in, and it's just, whoop, my goodness. All right, so that just goes down, and then it tells us to push a button. Now I'm gonna scoot this up a little, just because I like using these short glasses. So the machine doesn't have a lot of heating time, which is also really great. I have a Keurig, and I got it from my dad, and he used it for a good long time, but thankfully the one he got me had a timer on it, so it would automatically turn on and start warming up, because it did take like 2 minutes to warm up or something like that. So in the time it took that thing to warm up, I could have just made a cup of coffee. So it never seemed great to me. And it also made really bitter coffee, and I think because no matter what you put in it, it had no idea. It was just throwing blazing hot water through it and hoping for the best, So that is our one cappuccino, or I'm sorry, one espresso shot worth of cappuccino, which is what you normally. Oh goodness, my words are all messed up. One shot of espresso is your normal latte, your normal cappuccino. They do a shot of espresso, and then they do the milk associated with it, and so the cappuccino has less, the latte has more milk. However, I drink so much caffeine in a day, this does nothing for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that down again, and I'm just going to treat it like a brand new tea disc. The other option there, if you've brewed something and you want a little more, you can just press and hold that button and it will push more water through. But I prefer to do it this way because it actually gets the brew time in. If you just start pumping water through, you're not really getting your brew time in. And I want it to have as much oomph as possible. Nice and frothy. That's the other cool thing. You get even just doing an espresso shot here in a just stopping there, you get that nice crema on top. I think that's what they call it. I love coffee. I'm not really that much of a coffee nerd, getting into all the lingo and everything. Okay, third time's charm. Now we're going to switch over to our latte for macchiato caramel. They do say to shake on these things, so I shake. But as you can see, this is like in all sorts of different languages here. Guess that gives you your nutritional information. Energy, valor, energico. Sure. Carbohydrate, fat, fiber, protein, salt. You know, basic info. Guess they do give you like the size of the cup you'll want to use for this. First, your cappuccino, which is going to be smaller. And if you get that little bottom one's just a regular old espresso cup. So, alright, now I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to take out my coffee pod. We're all done with you, sucker. And put in for the milk. And sometimes this gets a little high here, and it's because I put so much coffee in at the begin with. So I'll probably drop this down a hair. Well, a hair. It's up or down. You can also just take this out entirely if you have a very tall cup. I usually do try and keep it as close as possible, though, because, occasionally you will get kind of splattering. But when you get to the milk, it's going to froth up, it's going to get pretty high, and it's going to get to the little spout that's in there, which you probably can't see right now, but I'm going to show you that in a minute. The only thing I don't like about this is that I do recycle everything, and these are not recyclable. I mean, if they were, I would take the time to rip this off and at least recycle the plastic innards. So that's unfortunate. Now, I know in UK, I just read online yesterday that they are working on a recycling program, not just for their pods, but for all coffee pods. And I thought, oh, that's really great. I hope that becomes a thing here. It would be very nice. Okay, so you can see I got right to the brim on that one. But that's pretty much all there is to it. Now I do want to show some other stuff here, so let me just get this up and out. Occasionally there's little drips, so I like to just not have to clean the drip tray under there. Now, you can see this. So this is the part that is going to puncture the pod, and it's going to puncture here for water input, and this is where the coffee is going to go out. Woo! And you can see that here's a little water input, and there's where it all comes out. So what I do is I'm going to pop this out like so, and I'm just going to run some water through that for a second. Because who wants to leave old milk in anything, really? That's just gross. It's shelf stable, it's not immortal. Now, periodically I will take pipe cleaners and I'll go through this and clean it out. And you can really get in here pretty well because this just pops open. And this just pops off. So you can get in all sorts of nooks and crannies here and really get it spotless if you want. And I do that, but not right now. That's just no fun to watch. But I do like to kind of just make sure this gets wipe down. Gonna make sure your little scanner's nice and dry and clean for later. And usually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put this back in and leave this open to dry. Okay, now let's turn it off because there's no reason to leave it on. It heats water up pretty much instantaneously. In the back, you have your water supply, much like any other coffee pod system. It's got a little magnet here that was going to warn you when you need more water. And that brings me to the problem that I have had with every one of these I've had. Now, mind you, every one I have had is from a thrift shop for about $5 to $10. I think I may have paid $15 for one once. Now, it took me a little bit to figure out the problem that was developing and the solution. So what was happening is over here it'll warn you if you're out of water. But if you have water and it's telling you you're out of water, what the heck's going on? Well, inside, of course, there's a magnet to read the magnet in the water tank. And if that's, I don't know what the heck happens to it, but it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And it's going to always tell you you need water and it won't run. So what I did is I ripped this side off. So, great solution, you know, ripped the side off, and I couldn't figure out how to get it off nice, so I just permanently removed it, you know, took care of that. So I stuck a thin magnet back here that now has this thing up and makes the system think it's up all the time. However, when I actually do run low on water, it will still alert me, which is awesome. So this is a really easy fix, just to find a magnet and stick it in here. And, well, I just have a ton of random old things, so why not have a tiny magnet sitting around that could just slide in there? So, is it beautiful? No. But, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, because you don't always get to see the inner workings of these things. But I don't mind this. I am a function over form person. So whether or not that has a side is irrelevant. Whether it works or not, that is relevant. So about the only other thing worth noting here is they do always come with their own little plastic disc. And what this is for is, say when you're done, you can put this in here, turn it to hit your little button, and it'll give you maybe a shot or more of like an espresso shot, but of just water. So if you just want to flush the system real quick, you can do that. If you put that in here and you hold the button, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds or something like that, you start the cleaning cycle. So that's where you want like a Descaler product to go in the tank, and you fill the tank with a Descaler product. It does specifically say to not use vinegar. And I think it's because all those little plastic tubes in there, I'm not really sure. But a lot of these systems like this do tell you not to use vinegar. So there's special products you get, and I believe I have some here. Yeah. So that's the one I have here. There's another one called Descales. And what is it? Contains sodium carbonate. So it's just sodium carbonate. So you mix this up according to this, enough to fill your tank. You run your cleaning cycle. You dump whatever's left. You flush out the tank, clear water, run all that through, and good to go then. So, all right, I am going to enjoy this lovely thing. And if I think of anything else to add, I will just do a little separate video. All right, bye-bye.